great to have Jon Cryer with us. We all grew up loving him as Ducky in Pretty in Pink, of course starring in 2.5 Men as Alan Harper, and now he's showing a whole new side of himself with a very funny memoir. So That Happened is the title of it. And where'd you come up with that name, Jon Cryer?
Well, it was just sort of a way to describe all of this very strange things that happened to me in my career. And when I realized that's what the book was going to be, that's what the title was.
And what was the impetus? I mean, you have had a very long career, so many stories that I remembered after only reading roles that you've done. And of course, we all know the journey that you took on 2.5 Men. But was that sort of like, okay, now I've got to write this down?
No, it came about as we were beginning the last season of 2.5 Men. My manager and my agent said, "Hey, have you ever wanted to write a book?" And I was like, "No," because writing a book is hard.
It's really hard.
It's really hard. And they said, "Well, we think people would be really wanting you to write a book now." And I said, "I don't want to." I said, "Listen, if you can get me a book deal, I'll write a book." And because I was sure they wouldn't be able to get me a book deal.
But that's sort of how you've been your whole career, kind of sure that things wouldn't happen that have happened.
And despite my best efforts, I've had a career.
Yes. And you even reached out to Charlie about writing the book?
Yes. Well, it was a long. It's in the book, but at one point he reached out to me, and in the process of it, I told him,
apologizing to you for a lot.
Yeah, a fair amount. But in the process of that, I told him I was writing a book, and I was sure that he'd be like, "Oh," but instead he was like, "No, that's great, man."
Does that really surprise you, though?
No, it doesn't surprise me. There are times when he's very at home with his flaws.
Yeah.
And that's part of his charm.
And part of yours too, I dare say. I mean, you just right from the beginning, you talk about this unexpected career that you've had, that you shouldn't, have made it. In fact, you were blessed with moxie, stick-to-itiveness, spunk, an off-kilter grin, lousy posture, an anxious nature, discolored teeth, zero muscle tone, asthma, an assortment of vocal tics, low self-esteem, a muffin top before they called it that, and dandruff. Of course you're a giant star.
It was inevitable. There was a point, there's in the book, part of writing it made me realize that there is a point in your life where you realize your flaws are what make you special.
Right.
And so that has been the greatest growing experience for me as a performer.
Never is that more evident, certainly in reading it, than in your trying out for the role of Alan. A certain giant executive from a different network did not want you in that role at all. And you were called like 80s baggage, or that's what you called yourself.
He said I had 80s baggage, not that I was 80s baggage.
Yes.
Which is it's a subtle difference.
Slightly different.
But it's an important
distinction.
No, actually, no.
But you stuck to the way you were going to do that neuroses that Alan had, and that you felt sort of that you connected with in a deep spiritual way.
Well, yes. Well, portraying Alan allowed my neuroses to flourish, and it became just this deep well of creative wonderfulness. No, what happened was when I was trying out for 2.5 Men, it became clear that Les Moonves, the president of CBS at the time, did not want me. In fact, the head of casting for CBS called Chuck Lorre, the producer of the show, and said, "Okay, there are 2 words I don't want to hear, and they are Jon Cryer." But thankfully, they let me audition, and it was so it was just clear that when Charlie and I worked together, that the chemistry was there.
And the show went on and continued to flourish without him. So another part of the book that you write that I thought was really fascinating were some of the roles that you didn't get. Really big roles. So I want to play a little game, Cry and Shame, to end this out.
Okay.
These are roles that you were up for that you didn't get. Number 1, nobody does the crane like this kid. You didn't get this role.
Nobody does the crane like, the Karate Kid. I was not the Karate Kid, ladies and gentlemen.
Not Karate Kid, but we have you there. Another role that you did not get was a colorful character. He didn't like his assumed name. He preferred purple. This was the role that you did not get, that you talk about in a very big movie.
Wait, no, I don't know which the one.
Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink, in Reservoir Dogs.
Buscemi.
Yes, I was not Mr. Pink in Reservoir Dogs. That was not me.
Not you at all.
Nope.
Other roles that you talk about.
Okay.
You were up for Chandler Bing.
I was up for Chandler Bing.
In Friends.
Yes.
But see how it all works out?
Yes.
Life is a funny journey.
It certainly is. And yeah, certainly the book is about that. Life takes detours every now and then, but your job is to learn from them.
Exactly, and be your authentic self, which you most certainly are, and your writing really reveals that. Jon Cryer, we love seeing you.
Thank you.
And Robin and I both agreed. We love the look.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, God is taking my hair, so I said,
you know what?
Let's
Off
do
the
this,
head,
God.
onto the face.
Let's do this.
It is a pleasure, as always. Best of luck, everybody. So That Happened is available in stores and online tomorrow. Thanks for giving it to us first. That's Tuesday, April 7th.